Hey everyone, what's good? It's Matt here with you, and today's stories are about number 1, the health ministry recruiting Wolbachia-infected mosquitoes to fight other mosquitoes. Number 2, 1 billion hectares of forest to combat global warming, and last but not least, we're going to talk about the government mulling compatibility test for couples wanting to marry. I can't wait to tell you about that. But before we begin, please make sure that you click on that subscribe button down below. It's going to make all of us super happy right here to keep updated on the current events and the news right here every Tuesdays and Thursdays on the Final Cut. Guys, good news. The government, they've come up with this new way to fight dengue right here in Malaysia. Okay, it involves a radical new solution using mosquitoes to fight mosquitoes.
Let them fight.
Stay with me. Now, before that, let me give you a TLDR on dengue. Okay, basically, it's this disease that's carried by Aedes mosquitoes, and when someone's infected, it causes mild to severe symptoms. If you're lucky, you'll get headaches, fever, and maybe some nausea and vomiting. If you're really unlucky, the virus messes with your blood's ability to clot, so you get internal bleeding, not fun, and in some cases, it even causes death. In Malaysia, we really struggle to keep it under control. Okay, for example, there were 60,000 over dengue cases between January the 1st to June of 29th of this year, with 93 deaths. Compared to the same period of last year, there were only 30,000 cases with 53 deaths. Alright, so here in Malaysia, clearly insecticides, mosquito nettings, getting rid of stagnant water and using mosquito repellents are not good enough. And check this out, I actually know people who would rather risk dengue than spend time cleaning their house. Ridiculous. So let's now welcome the solution for 2019, guys. Wolbachia-infected Aedes mosquitoes. The plan is very simple. Release these mosquitoes into mosquito-infested areas. I know some of you guys are like, I release more mosquito while trying to kill mosquito. Are you stupid or what? Calm down. Right? Let me first explain about these Wolbachia-infected mosquitoes being released. Firstly, Wolbachia is a safe natural bacteria that's present in up to 60% of insect species. Guys, it works in two ways. Number 1, the Wolbachia bacteria, it boosts the mosquito's immune system, so it doesn't get infected by the dengue virus. So no dengue virus means no humans being infected. Simple. Number 2, Wolbachia competes for resources within the mosquito. It starves the virus out and it makes it harder for the viruses to grow. So if it's harder for the viruses to grow, then it's harder for them to be transmitted. So back to Malaysia, in 2017, they actually carried out these tests in 8 different areas in Selangor. And guess what? It showed reductions of dengue cases. These spots had 50 to 80% less dengue cases, and that is a remarkable amount. It sounds way better than using insecticides, for example. It smells bad, and it's gonna be bad for your health. So the plan now is simple. It's to put out these containers containing Aedes mosquito eggs infected with the bacteria at 11 different locations in Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya, and Selangor before releasing the hatched insects in phases. When an infected female mosquito mates with an uninfected male, they will produce Wolbachia-infected mosquitoes, which is great, okay? It's the same when both infected mosquitoes mate. But when Wolbachia-infected male mosquito mates with an uninfected female, the eggs won't hatch. Now, the bacteria also does not pose any danger to human beings, so in a few generations, you'll have Wolbachia mosquitoes only. So fingers crossed, next year we'll see less dengue cases. Let me know if you think this plan will work down in the comment section down below. Guys, pretty cool things happening. British pop star Anne Marie, she's coming to Malaysia and she's going to be performing at KL Live on the 22nd at 8 p.m. So make sure you get your tickets quick before they sell out. I hear she's really popular. Another pretty cool thing that's gonna happen, Malaysia Coffee Fest, it's back and it's gonna take place in Wan Utama Shopping Centre on the 25th to 28th of this month. It's brought together by Cafe Owners Alliance Malaysia and it's open to all coffee and even tea lovers as well. Both of these events will be linked down below, so check them out later on for more information. Alright guys, can planting 1 billion hectares of forests keep global warming in check? This new study says yes. The new study involved them analyzing almost 80,000 satellite photos of tree coverage worldwide, along with data on soil and climate conditions, and they found that trees already take up 3.4 billion hectares of land on the planet. But there is room for an extra 0.9 billion hectares of coverage. So the study even says where these trees can be planted for maximum effect. Over half of them are concentrated in 6 of these countries: Russia, United States, Canada, Australia, Australia, Brazil, and China. Now, they're saying that it could remove 2/3 of roughly 300 gigatons of carbon that humans have added to the atmosphere since the 1800s. That's amazing, but there are some things to consider. University of Alberta, Professor Scott Chang, he is an expert in forest soils and nutrient dynamics. He said it is possible if there is land available for reforestation, but if there's no land available, then obviously the strategy won't work. Secondly, it's about the money, right? So Professor Tom Crowther, he led the research. He said that most effective projects are doing restoration work for ringgit 24 for a tree. That works out to over R1 trillion for 1 trillion trees, right? Assuming that prices remain the same in different countries. Turns out it can cost up to 3 ringgit to plant a tree depending on the species in different countries, and if it requires a lot of care before it grows out. So that really raises the budget significantly, right? Where are we going to find the money? Lastly, Professor Scott says it could increase the frequency of forest fires in places where it happens a lot. He says that trees can alter the environment themselves. Chang also explained if there's not enough precipitation for the trees to grow, they'll be taking water from the groundwater, which could then lead to droughts, which would then kill the plants themselves over decades. So, nothing's ever clear-cut, guys. We still need to reuse, recycle, and reduce our usage of fossil fuel and natural resources, and I really hope it's not too late. What do you guys think about this? Also, what do you feel is the best solution to counter climate change? I'd really like to know your thoughts down in the comment section below. So you've definitely seen these quizzes on Facebook before, right? You know the whole, what's your personality type, find out what kind of werewolf you are, or those based on movies like which Game of Thrones character are you, congrats, you're a Lannister, yada yada yada. Guys, if you hate these kind of quizzes, right, then you may not like what the government is planning to do. They're thinking of introducing an online compatibility quiz for singles and dating couples, right? This was mentioned by Hannah Yeoh, who is the Women, Family and Community Development Deputy Minister. So to their credit, the quiz isn't your typical what's your favorite color kind of quiz, right? It's based on marriage counseling questionnaires. So questions about your marriage commitment, lifelong goals, living arrangements, and so forth, right? Basically, it allows young dating couples to avoid marriages ending up in divorce. Okay, it's all inclusive as well, because she also said that the quiz could be done by a young person wishing to know more about his or her personality traits. So why this sudden urge to introduce this quiz all of a sudden? It turns out that married couples between 30 and 34 years old suffer the highest rate of divorce right here in Malaysia. So check out these quick stats. For women, 1/3 of them said misunderstandings were the main reason for divorce, followed by unfaithful and irresponsible husbands. But of course, and for men, almost half of them said misunderstandings were the main reason for divorce, followed by interference by in-laws and infidelity. So in short, it's cheating partners, okay, your busybody in-laws, and misunderstandings. These 3 things could cause your divorce. Hannah also gave some really interesting records by the National Registration Department. It says that, since 2013, 17,000 over troubled marriages were due to financial issues, 6,000 over cases were due to third-party interferences, and nearly 5,000 cases were due to emotional and physical abuse. There were also apparently a drop in the number of marriages, okay, from 200,000 over in 2016 to around 190,000 in 2017, and that the number of divorces had also dropped from 51,000 over cases in 2016 to nearly just 50,000 cases, alright? But I honestly think that, the number of divorces would go down because the number of marriages went down as well. Does it make sense? Maybe there's a different way to lower divorce rates. Take for example what Dr. Philip Cohen, a sociology professor at the University of Maryland, had to say. Okay? He thinks that today's young women, okay, are more likely to be older than 25 when they get married. Okay? They're also more likely to have a college education and not have children before tying knot. Okay? This means more stable marriages and less divorces. Now back to the quiz. At least it's not mandatory, okay, and it only serves as a kind of guide, right? So it's just for fun. Is this a good move by the government? Do you think, they should be doing this, or they should be staying out of our lives? Let us know down below in the comments section. Alright, guys, that's all the time we have here for today. Thank you so much for staying throughout the whole entire video with me. Please let us know if we left out any interesting stories. If you want us to cover anything else, write down at the comment